Alright, Shalom Akim, Isikah Halal, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Chakodash, thanks to double on the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and well, and peace and salutation to the Akim around the world that push this truth to the four corners of the earth. And I entitled this video part 2 of even 2/3 and people in the world could see that the rfid chip is the mark of the beast. Because originally they wasn't talking about this, but first set of people was pushing this was the elders of Great Millstone over years and years, and even seeing now that even people in the world are able to see that the RFID chip is the mark of the beast, and you're seeing people making their own personal videos about it and talking about it. But you'll still see it at camps out here that's saying that the mark of the beast is a philosophy and all this kind of rubbish.
Hello. Now, if I told you that on the one show there would be a feature about how great it would be to have a microchip implanted in all of us, you'd probably think you're having a laugh, mate, aren't you? But that's exactly what happened on Wednesday night. This is probably the most sinister feature I've ever seen on TV, certainly in the past, well, for as long as I can remember. So let's have a look, see what you think.
Here's Rory looking forward to a truly bionic future for all of us.
Looking forward to a truly bionic future for all of us. Starts well, doesn't it?
These days, people are modifying their bodies in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways, from surgically implanted horns in your head to some very odd changes indeed. Personally, I wouldn't have any of these cosmetic modifications, but there is a host of more useful technology that people are starting to have put under their skin.
Oh, isn't that nice? Useful technology, people having implanted under their skin. Seriously? If you'd shown this even 5 years ago, people would be going, what? And I hope people are rightly outraged by this, but it doesn't seem they are, because there's been very little commentary about this on online. I posted some stuff on Twitter after I saw it, but well, carry on watching.
It might sound a bit sci-fi, but some companies promise a future where you can open doors, pay for your dinner, or even clear customs using microchips implanted in your hand.
Well, that's the plan, isn't it? Why is everything going online and digital? Why are we becoming a cashless society? We're paying things with contactless cards or with apps on phones. It's to get everything. If you get everything digital and online, it's easily tracked, traced, and databased. It's another way of keeping us all under surveillance and controlled, basically. And these microchips are the ultimate. This is the ultimate goal. And we'll see more about that later on. Here we go.
Stephen Northam runs the UK's first human microchipping company, and of course, he has one fitted.
Our technology is quite simple. It's the same technology used in cats and dogs. All the data stored on the microchip itself only is readable when it's scanned against an external reader.
The implant contains a unique identifier code and uses close-range radio communication, so when you swipe your hand against the reader, it knows it's you.
So currently, the microchips can be used for opening doors, starting cars, so swiping your hand on the steering wheel.
You can start a car with it?
Start your car, yeah.
Okay, alright.
Look, yeah, you can open doors with it. Yeah. This is all part of the whole surveillance by convenience agenda that's going on. You know, how many things, it's like smart meters, supposedly to help us save money. They don't save us money. I made a video about that as well, which you can see. I'll either post a link here or I'll post a link in the description, but it is surveillance by convenience. It's making technology, easy technology that makes things supposedly easier, but the downside of it is that it's just more of your privacy being taken away. You're being more tracked, traced, and databased wherever you go. So everything you do, wherever you go, is being traced, tracked, and recorded and stored for future use by who knows who, for who knows what. And that's the dangers, isn't it? Let's carry on.
Yeah, logging onto
He
laptop.
said the scriptures say never trust thine enemy. You understand? His lips are smooth like butter. You understand? And another precept. They show how Esau is always trying to, and there's use people that look like us. You understand? This could be a Jake, one of them sellouts, or it could be somebody confusion of faces. But there's always use somebody that look like us to be able to help push this agenda on our people to make it look cool or to make it look useful. When really and truly they're deceiving the masses. And even 2/3 could see that.
Top, so I can scan my hand, and my laptop logs in.
Look at that.
And future technology for this is contactless payments, passports, whole variety of different technologies could be integrated into the chip.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Get everything digital. So if you had a chip implanted, this is the real danger, isn't it? If you had a chip implanted which had all your bank details on it, so you could just swipe your hand, you'd have your medical records on it. You could use it for travelling, or like they say, for getting through customs or passport control, things like that. So if that is the future, which clearly this is what this is leading to, what happens if the government of the day, if you don't like what the government's doing and you protest, and they just turn off your chip? Well, you can't travel anywhere, you can't pay for anything, and you can't get medical help, medical assistance. So that's the ultimate, isn't it? The ultimate control, basically, isn't it? If you've got everything on a chip, all your details, all your means of payment, travel, or means of getting medical care is all on a chip. If that gets turned off, what do you do?
Kiri Boya is a convert.
Hi, Kiri.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
She knows Stephen, and when he explained the idea, she joined a waiting list to have a microchip implanted that could allow her to automatically open the doors to her house.
I'm a nightmare with house keys to start with, so initially
Very soon you should be waiting for ICD on myself.
being able to let myself into my own house would be great. Love technology, bit of a tech geek. So going forward, if it's things like chip and pin, paying for things, not needing to leave the house with bank cards.
So this is all about making your life easier as far as you're concerned.
Yeah.
Seriously, how lazy do you have to be that you'd rather have a microchip implanted in your body rather than open a door with a key? Again, surveillance by convenience. That's how it all works.
Stephen's chips use special biocompatible glass and are designed to last a lifetime, so should never need to be removed. But getting a microchip for identification is not considered to serve a medical purpose, so they aren't regulated as medical devices. Do you feel different?
No?
Superwoman.
Each implant costs around £250, and adapting your lock so it opens your doors could cost up to £5,000.
Seriously, how lazy? I can't be bothered to use a key, so I'll actually pay to have a microchip implanted in my hand, pay 250 quid, and then an extra 5,000 on my doors so I can open them with the wave of a hand. World's gone mad.
Okay, moment of truth. So it could be expensive if Kiri wants to kit out her whole house. Should we see if it works?
Okay.
There you go. Amazing. You can use implants to buy some train tickets in Sweden, and at least one company in the US has given staff the option to access the building and pay for meals using them.
Yeah, some staff in some companies have already been implanted in the US and other places around America. How sinister is that? Chipping your employees so you know where they are and what they're doing at all times. I mean, now this is the worst bit coming up here. This is who's lost all his limbs, and there's this poor guy who's lost all his limbs, and they're basically exploiting him to get this pro-human chip implant message across. Watch this.
I can see how this kind of tech could make life that bit more convenient for most of us, but for Alex Lewis, it has completely changed his life. 4 years ago, he became seriously ill and had to have both his arms and legs amputated.
If I was to get out of a car, try and get keys out of a bag, try and get the key into the lock and try to turn it and then try and get in, it could take 10, 15 minutes. So now with the microchip and the simplicity of it all, I'm in and out within 30 seconds.
So this has changed your life quite a lot then?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's been a real game changer. I travel extensively, and for me, if I had my medical data stored in a microchip in my arm, if I was to fall ill abroad, rather than being presented to somebody not having a clue what's going on, for them to scan and to have that information is massive. I think there's a wealth of positive differences that this type of technology can make.
Now, my first thought when I was watching this was, apart from, this poor guy, what he's been through, is he's using this chip, he's saying, as a way to get into his house and also for storing medical records. Well, you could have that on a pendant around your neck. You wouldn't need that to have that as an implant on a chip inside your body. You could have your medical records in a pendant around your neck. And also, if you did want to have some kind of electronic door opening device, you could also have that on the pendant. You don't have to have that implanted in you, which is, a disgusting exploitation of this poor guy to get this message, this pro RFID human implanting of chips agenda across. It's just disgusting.
I was initially quite skeptical about all of this, but meeting Alex has shown me just how useful microchip implants can be. Maybe one day we'll all have one.
Maybe one day we'll all have one. Can you imagine that? What kind of world would that be if babies were microchipped at birth? I mean, it's the stuff of dystopian nightmares, isn't it? It's, like something out of 1984, which was meant to be a warning, not a blueprint. But that's how this kind of agenda creeps into society, isn't it? It's by convenience. It's so convenient not to have to type a password into your laptop or your mobile phone. You can just hold it up and it will biometrically read your face or your thumb or fingerprint. But then what's your phone company doing with that data, your biometric data that they've got? What do they do with that? We see all these scandals about people's data being stolen or used. If everything about you is on a chip, or your medical records, your means of travel, your means of accessing medical care, your means of leaving the country, passport control, I mean, that would be the ultimate control, wouldn't it? It can either be turned off, or it could be hacked or stolen. There's also obviously health implications with this. There's been many studies, because obviously they've chipped animals first. Animals are chipped, dogs are routinely chipped. And there's been a lot of studies with cancerous tumours in dogs and cats around where these RFID chips have been implanted. So there's obviously health things we need to be aware of. Obviously they can be hacked as well. Anything electronic can be hacked. Plus it's also not about the data that they transmit. What data can they receive and how can that affect you? Our brains have brain waves, blood cells and all our organs, they communicate electronically with small electrical charges, synapses in the brain, the electrical. We are bioelectrical chemical beings, aren't we? We are beings of frequency. So what does having a chip implanted in you, which could potentially be used to broadcast certain waves or certain electrical impulses, what would that do to you? I mean, another way of control, isn't it? I mean, it sounds completely like some kind of futuristic nightmare, but it's here now. On the One Show, on BBC's One Show. I mean, it was just so sinister in its banality, and it's like everyone's smiling, oh yeah, how cool is this? Oh, this is great, I've got a chip implanted. Seriously? 2018, this is the one.
Even people in the world could see that the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. The elders are great millstone. The apostles are great millstone, and all the elders and all the Akim preaching for years upon years. Other camps who claim to be Israelites when a preacher said a foolishness. Today, Matthew 24, verse 24, it says, "For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, inasmuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect." But we know that all these crafty little ways that Esau have of convincing people and trying to make it look like it's such a technological breakthrough and it will be good and useful and all these different things. The men of the Lord will never be confounded. They will be able to last to the end. And they will even have people in the world who might understand there is a mark of the beast. And they might prefer to die than take it. But they don't have that seal. They don't have the election. You understand? They are not of the election, Salakia. You understand? They don't have the name. They will be dying for Jesus. Right? Upwards edifying. Oleakim. Shalom.